Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So I hate to do this again, but I got some really scary news. I got a scary message today from another supplier of stuff. And I want to share this with you guys because I have a feeling that 2022 is going to be a really bad year if this is any indication, if you didn't know already. So this company who makes some of the world's best water purification systems, they're a staple in every prepper's home. They've already raised their prices by about 20% over the last year, gradually in 5-10% increments. And now they're going to be raising their prices by, I hope you're sitting down, okay? They are going to be raising their prices between 10 and 30%. I'm going to read you this message I got. Due to continued rising costs associated with our global operations and supply chain for materials, labor, and all aspects of logistics, please be advised that Berkey Water Filter Systems will implement a price increase of 10 to 30% on Berkey products effective February 21st, 2022. So, what this means is that you are going to see a 30% increase in consumer products, because it's not just going to be this product, I can tell you that. It's going to be for your fixed expenses across the board, 30% increase. And what really has me a bit rattled right now, and what's really, after I got this message, I just haven't been able to think straight all day, because I'm seeing what's happening in the market. You're seeing, we're in a recession now, if you didn't know. We're seeing the NASDAQ down by 11% already this year alone, okay? And we all knew that bubble had to pop. But what it all means is that, when taken with that, the market decreasing and the rising prices, you're really starting to see how much the dollar is being devalued. On top of that, we have this major trucker situation happening in Canada, and it's going to affect the U.S., because we do $700 billion worth of trade with the U.S. every year. That's going both ways. So the truckers, they can't come in, they can't come out unless they have the jab. And 25% of Canadian truckers haven't gotten it yet. 40% of American truckers haven't gotten it yet. That is going to drastically increase the price of freight. You're going to see more shortages in the grocery store. And that increase in price of freight is most definitely going to translate into higher prices. Speaking of which, we sell a brand of Norwegian tents, Nortent, and the price of freight, I almost fell out of my chair. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys, I wanted to order some tents by air freight, because right now the ports are so congested. I've had a shipment of wood stoves sitting at the port in Vancouver for the last 2 months, just sitting there. Okay, that's just one of the shipments that we have sitting there. So I wanted to do air freight, and the cost of the freight is the cost, pretty much like the cost of the freight plus the duties and import fees is the cost of the product itself. Where do you think that price increase is going to go? Well, it's going to have to go to you, the end user consumer. That's the only place it can go, because that's the only way anybody can do business, okay? You see the crime increasing with these Amazon trains being eluded. You see package piracy reaching all-time highs, which is just basically a new form of shoplifting. Okay, the shoplifters have found a way to now take the crime out of the store, because the stores are shutting down because it's just not economically viable to have a store anymore. So you have a warehouse and you ship things around the world. That's just the future. That's how it's going to work. In addition to global factors which are playing into this right now with the situation in Ukraine and how easily that could spiral out of control and cause an even bigger drag on the global logistics web. In addition to just weather disasters that are endless. I mean, it was minus 40 2 days ago, and it was raining last night, freezing rain. And today it's back to minus 25. And guess what? Tomorrow it's going to be plus 1 degrees out. These wild perturbations in the jet stream are just becoming more and more intense, and they're making logistics more challenging. The floods out in BC totally screwed up the supply chain here. So if you don't think that these environmental issues are contributing to this mess, then you're not paying enough attention. Okay, this is all creating the perfect storm, the perfect crap storm for a major increase in prices. And I'm pretty much convinced now. When I made that video about how I got the letter from one of my distributors about 4 or 5 months ago, and sure enough, the prices all went up on those things. I was worried, but now I'm starting to think about hyperinflation. We have crypto, which is crashing. Is it all going to be permanent? Is the Fed going to step in there and try to keep the party going a little bit longer? I don't know, but it's starting to look like the people who are pulling the strings of this whole facade are starting to back away into the shadows as the crime increases. Okay, even though there is employment, it's not the kind of employment that you can feed your family with, because the price and the cost of living is going to skyrocket. This is going to put more small businesses out of business, and what we're going to be stuck with is a bunch of Amazon trains going all around the country with armed robot sentries to protect from the looters. Okay, that's the future we're looking at. Dystopian future where you all live in your little pod domicile with your virtual reality goggles and living off the Amazon robots, because that's the only company that can afford to stay in business, because it can buy its own planes, it can buy its own ships. Okay, so it's not looking good. And I usually can crack a joke here or there in some of these videos. I can't crack a joke today after learning that Berkey is going to be raising their prices. When they say 10 to 30%, they basically mean the upper end of that, because Berkey's products are very similar. They have a small product line, and they're all the same thing. They're water filters and the water basins that hold the filters, possibly related to the price of steel because they use stainless steel in their products. So if they're saying 30% increase, and they've just increased their prices last year by 20%, if you ask me, that's slow motion hyperinflation. That's exactly what it is. It's slow motion hyperinflation. And it's going to start to become obvious to people when you simply can't pay your bills anymore, even when you're working a middle class wage. Now, the only benefit of some of this is that if you have a loan locked in already, or you perhaps owe money on a credit card, then the devalued currency is going to be good for you, because relatively speaking, you're going to be paying back less if the currency is worth less, unless the interest rates rise on certain things. But there's lots of things where you're in a contract, interest rates are a certain way. Anyways, guys, my fan has just turned on here, so it's going to be very disruptive. So I just want to say, get ready for this. These price hikes are coming before February 21st. If you want to get a Berkey, I'd say get one now, because a lot of places are going to be increasing their prices before that. So just brace yourselves, because 2022 is going to be a wild year. And I think that this is where we're going to see the emergence of we are the 99% 2.0. Just watch. It's going to happen, because people are not going to be able to afford to live. You've been warned. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.